What was the most dangerous animal alive 2 million years ago? Not a lion, not a bear, it was a human. Homo erectus hunted the biggest animals on Earth, mastered fire, and ruled 3 continents for longer than our species has even existed. We picture our ancestors as fragile. We've got it backwards. Everything alive was afraid of them. To see why, look at the world that made it. The African savanna 2 million years ago was open grassland under a hammering sun, almost no cover, and a cast of predators that makes anything alive today look tame. Saber-toothed cats with blades for teeth, hyenas the size of lions hunting in packs, crocodiles in every river, big cats in every patch of shade. Into that arena walked a slow, upright ape with no claws, no fangs, no armor, and no real speed. By every rule of nature, it should have been a snack. It should have lasted a season. Instead, it lasted 2 million years, and it didn't survive that world by hiding. It survived by becoming the thing the predators learned to avoid. Start with the body. In 1984, on the western shore of Lake Turkana in Kenya, a fossil hunter named Kamoya Kimiu spotted a sliver of bone in a dry riverbed. It turned out to be the most complete early human skeleton ever found, a boy who died about 1.6 million years ago. He was already over 5'3", and he wasn't finished growing. As an adult, he would have stood around 6'1", taller than most men today. But it was the build that mattered. Long legs, dense bones, a frame engineered for one thing, moving across open ground, in heat, for distances no other predator could match. Because that is the first terrifying thing about Homo erectus. It didn't outrun its prey, it outlasted it. Erectus had nearly hairless skin, packed with sweat glands, which meant it could shed heat and keep moving under a midday sun that forced every other hunter on the savanna to stop and pant in the shade. A lion sprints for 30 seconds and quits. A wolf gives out in minutes. Erectus could keep jogging for hours in direct sun behind an animal that had to stop, cool down, and bolt again over and over until the prey simply overheated, staggered, and went down. And then the upright thing walked calmly up to a creature many times its size and finished it with a sharpened stone. Scientists call it persistence hunting, and while the details are still debated, the anatomy is built for exactly this. It is, in a sense, the worst way to be hunted ever invented. Not a burst of speed and a quick death, but a patient, tireless thing that simply does not stop coming until you are dead. Imagine being on the other end of it. You're a wild horse, built to explode into a sprint and leave any predator choking on dust. You see the upright things coming, and you do what has always worked. You run, and you open a huge gap. But they don't sprint after you. They just keep coming at a steady, unbothered pace. You stop to breathe. They're still coming. You run again, shorter this time. They're still coming. There is no ambush, no single moment where you either escape or die, just a small, patient shape on the horizon that closes the gap every time you have to rest, under a sun that is cooking you and doesn't seem to touch them. And it keeps closing, hour after hour, until your legs buckle under you. The last thing you ever see is something upright walking up, in no hurry at all, with a stone in its hand. Then there's the weapon. Around 1.7 million years ago, Homo erectus began producing a tool we call the Acheulean hand axe, a teardrop of stone, sharpened on both faces, sized to fit a palm. What's terrifying about it isn't the edge, it's the consistency. Erectus made that same hand axe, to nearly the same design, across millions of square miles and for over 1 million years. The smartphone has changed beyond recognition in 20 years. The hand axe stayed itself for 60,000 generations. This wasn't a lucky invention. It was infrastructure, a killing tool so perfected it didn't need to change. And then they did the thing nothing else on Earth could do. They took fire, the one force every animal on the planet instinctively flees, and they made it a tool. Evidence from a South African cave called Wonder Work points to controlled fire around 1 million years ago, and by 500,000 years ago, it was everywhere Erectus was. Fire meant warmth, cooked food that released more calories, longer days, and cold new lands they could finally move into. But it also meant something simpler and darker. The animal that controls fire stops being prey at night. The dark stopped being dangerous to them. They made it dangerous for everyone else. Which brings us to a cave outside Beijing and the single most disturbing thing we ever learned about them. The site is called Zhoukudian. Starting in the 1920s, archaeologists pulled the remains of around 40 Homo erectus individuals out of it, the famous fossils that became known as Peking Man. And as the bones came together, a pattern emerged that nobody wanted to write down. A high number of the skulls had their bases broken off. The hole at the bottom of the skull, where the spine connects, had been widened in almost every one. Long bones were split open lengthwise, the way you split a bone to get at the marrow inside. The most direct reading of that evidence was cannibalism, Homo erectus, eating its own. Researchers have argued about it ever since. Maybe scavengers chewed the skulls, maybe the cave geology crushed them, and the debate at Zhoukudian has never fully closed. But at other erectus sites, in Spain and Ethiopia, the cut marks are not ambiguous at all. Stone tools scraped flesh from the bones of their own kind. Whatever the reason, the species was capable of it, and it confirms the one thing the savannah already knew. In the world of Homo erectus, the most dangerous thing you could possibly meet was another Homo erectus. Those Peking Man fossils, by the way, were crated up to be shipped to safety in 1941 during the Japanese invasion of China, and then they vanished. They have never been found. All we have left are casts and the data. And here is the part that turns a dangerous animal into a planetary one. Erectus did not stay in Africa. Around 1.9 million years ago, it walked out, not in a single heroic march, but as a relentless spread across deserts and mountain ranges that took hundreds of thousands of years. We have found them at Dmanisi in Georgia, on the very doorstep of Europe, 1.8 million years ago. We have found them in Spain, in China, in Indonesia. The same animal, the same lethal toolkit, crossing terrain that would break a modern hiker in full gear. Wherever it arrived as the most efficient predator that landscape had ever seen. One animal, 3 continents, the first creature in history to make the whole world its hunting ground. And it was thinking the entire time. The brain inside that heavy-browed skull was only about 2/3 the size of yours, which sounds like a limit until you see what they did with it. The island of Flores, east of Bali, has never once been connected to the mainland. To reach it, you have to cross open ocean, a stretch of deep water so old and so wide that tigers never crossed it, and elephants never crossed it. Homo erectus crossed it. Stone tools on Flores go back at least 700,000 years. We still don't know for certain how they managed it. The leading idea involves rafts of lashed bamboo, but sit with what that requires. A creature with a brain smaller than yours worked out how to build something that floated, and then convinced a group to ride it across open sea toward a coastline no one could even see. That is not instinct. Instinct does not build boats. That is a mind, planning, teaching, deciding, and it had been running, unbroken, for 2 million years. So let's be honest about the scale of this. Homo erectus ruled the Earth for nearly 2 million years. Our own species has been here for about 300,000. We are not even a quarter of the way to matching their run. Stack the entire history of Homo sapiens end to end, 6 times over, and you would barely cover the reign of Homo erectus. And they are not some enemy on a distant branch of the family tree. They are the trunk. We are descended from them, or from a branch of them. The heavy bones, the endurance, the upright frame, the hands that shape the axe, all of it was slowly softened, lightened, and reshaped into the body you are sitting in right now. The terror of the African savanna didn't go extinct. It just kept getting refined, generation after generation, until it became something that builds cities and watches videos. Homo erectus was not cruel, and it was not a monster. It was something harder to look at than either. It was exactly what 2 million years of the most dangerous world imaginable produces when it stops killing a creature and starts perfecting it. It was the most successful, most enduring, most quietly terrifying human that has ever existed, and we are only the latest, softest edition of it. The next time someone tells you we are the masters of this planet, remember that we were not the first. We are not even the best. We are the children of the thing the whole world used to run from. Try to live up to it.